Alright guys, welcome to the first video of my methods. So I just need to do a bit of a disclaimer here. I'm a very aggressive advertiser. I actually like to put in more money than I should at the start to test my ads. So in this one I'm going to show you how to do it properly without doing that. But just remember that not all methods are going to work for everybody. People have their different methods and stuff like that. These are ones that are working for me right now. And like my honest advice, and we'll talk about this a bit more later, is to actually, a lot of people say to test and after 1 or 2 days, if you've got a sale, to scale that up. It's really the wrong way to do it, because if you do that, you might have got a fluke sale and then you fall in love with that sale, and the problem is it's really dangerous, and we'll talk about that a bit more in this video. But just like my advice would be just to be patient, a little bit patient, and just let your ads run for a few days, because you're going to get more accurate results that way. And that's what I believe, and that's what's worked for me the most. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to kind of give it, kind of like a bit of a disclaimer that, my methods are different to other people's, but they work for me. I think method 1 or 2 in this is going to be quite big, a lot of money being put into them, which is what I usually do, but you don't have to do that, right? You don't need massive budgets for Facebook when you're starting. So this method should help you out with that. It also depends on your product, your goal, your budget, your experience, and your advert type, right? Different advert types, you're going to have to start with different budgets, and you're going to have a different goal. You're going to have some products, like if you're selling an expensive product, a product that you think you're going to have to pay a high cost for to get conversions and stuff, then you're going to have to obviously put in a little bit more money at the start, right? You can't start off $5. I had one product that I was getting $18 conversions on, roughly, and that was like the best I could get, but I was making profit. So if I'm putting in $5 a day, I'm only getting a conversion every 3 or 4 days, right? Makes sense, right? Because that's what Facebook's giving me conversions at, around about $18. So I had to put in more money at the start. I couldn't just put in $5 because I wasn't giving Facebook what it wanted. So that's kind of what you've got to look at as well, like your product. You've got to work out how much a conversion is worth to you, and then think, well, if you can afford to spend $10 per sale, then you want to put in kind of a bit more than $10 per day budget. Now, I'm not saying you're going to pay $10 per conversion, because Facebook will automatically find you the best ones, but it just depends on so many factors. Like the whole point of this video is just to tell you that not everything's the same, right? You don't just have the same Facebook strategy for every product. Like, try not to, because a lot of them are different. Pricing, profit margins, everything so much is different, okay? And advert type and experience and stuff. So I have a lot of experience. That's why my next method is going to be like, whoa, he spends a lot of money at the start. Just because I have experience, I can do that. I feel safe doing that, but you don't have to do that, all right? So this method here that we're going to talk about is called the Quick Tester, and it's probably the most reliable one for anyone jumping in as a beginner. I do have another beginner method down below, but this is kind of a very good beginner method for testers. So let's just say like I do talk about doing PPE first, but I'm kind of trying to change that a little bit. I'm trying to move to website conversion first a lot now, just to kind of save time. But let's just say you're doing website conversion first. What I would do is I forgot to mention, I would actually get a bunch of products that I want to test. Let's say 6, for instance. Here I'll do website conversion ad sets, and I'd actually set them to add to cart. Then what I would do is I'd spend $5 to $10 max. This is the Quick Tester, right? I do this sometimes. This is a very common method, and I would I'll set it to $5 to $10 max, and then I would analyze, and if I've got a sale, 2 sales, or a sale, or 3, or whatever, I'll go to stage 2, and all the zeros I would kill, right? This is a quick on your feet decision making method. And you need to not fall in love with the products. You need to just kill the ones that aren't working and move on. And just this is for someone that wants to constantly test over and over again until you find the products. And I'm a tester, so this is what I do a lot of the time as well. Just as I said, depends on the product, depends on what I'm doing. And I'm not going to have them all on $5, $10. Like I might start one on $10 a day or 20. Just depends on the product. Okay, not all of my ad sets are going to be the same pricing. Now, you want to watch out for the ones, okay? The one sales are very tricky, and they can be very, very dangerous. The reason is a lot of people will get one sale and they'll think they've got a winner. It's not really the case. It just means you got a sale. It doesn't mean anything. One sale can simply be a fluke sale. Sometimes Facebook will throw your advert out pretty quickly and try to get you sales, or for whatever conversion you're optimizing for. So just really be careful of the one sales, because what happens is people just keep trying to sell that product and it doesn't work, and they blame Facebook and they blame the coaches and stuff. But when in reality it was just the fact that it was a dud sale. No one was interested. Someone randomly bought it or whatever, right? And that really is the case. That really is the case. So just be careful of the one sales, okay? They can be very, very dangerous. Don't get hooked on them. So I would go to stage 2, right? After I've got some sales and stuff. And stage 2 is kind of like just analyzing. Like, a lot of guys that do this stuff, they tell you to, when you've got 1 or 2 sales, to start to upscale and stuff. It's not really the way. You need to kind of just let it run for a little bit longer, because you still don't know what's going on with that product. You don't know if it's going to continue well. You don't know anything about it yet. It's only been running for a couple of days. But what you're trying to do here is just cut the fat pretty quickly on the ones that don't get any sales. Okay, you just want to get rid of those, otherwise they keep spending money. Now the ones that get sales, I usually let them run for about 2 or 3 days. All right, and then I'll kind of analyze them again. The top one's got another sale, third one's got another sale. So we're pretty much positive cash flow at this point, right? We're making money. So that's quite important. But bottom one's starting to lose money. So, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I just honestly just let it keep running. Like, don't fall into the trap of listening to people that tell you to upscale straight away, because guys, it's such a trap. I have students coming to me and they've got one sale, and then they've gone from a $5 budget to a $50 budget, and they've wondered why Facebook's just spent that money for no reason, and that sometimes happens. Facebook will just spend that $50 and not get you any sales for the rest of the day or the next day. Right, and it's so dangerous, and you can lose a lot of money. That's the worst way to do Facebook adverts, is to think, okay, I've got a sale, 2 sales, I'm going to upscale. I don't really upscale till I get quite a few sales. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I'm ready to upscale. I'm not in any rush. I'm very patient. Why do I need a rush? It's about a nice, consistent, positive cash flow. It's not about getting rich all the time, although it's nice. You want to get rich and make lots of money, but you do that once you have a dead set winning ad set, like it's definitely 100% getting consistent sales. Then you upscale to the hundreds of thousands of millions, or whatever you want to do, right? So anyway, I let it run for a couple of days, 2 sales, 3 sales, 1 sale. Now, let's kind of analyze things a little bit. If I've been going for like 2 to 4 days or something, right, and I still have 1 sale on the bottom one, I'm just going to kill it. It's a waste of time. I'm pretty much not making any money at this point, and I'm a quick tester. I could replace that with another product that could possibly make me more sales and do a lot better than that one, right? So I'm just going to kill it. I'm not even going to waste my time. But remember, this is the quick tester method. I have other methods where I'd actually let this run for a little bit longer, even on higher budgets. Like I said, I'm a very aggressive, risky Facebook advertiser now. And then I've still got 2 sales, 3 sales. I'm going to let them run, and I'm going to let them run because if they're going to stay in positive ROI, I'm just going to let them keep running. As long as they stay in positive ROI, I'm going to let them run for a little bit, because I want to see if I can get more sales consistently. Once they get a consistent amount of sales, then I'll look at upscaling. This method here is a quick tester, but a safe method in the long run. I'm going to let it run for a couple of more days. If I start to see some more sales come in, or I see sales increasing, then I'm going to look at upscaling, right? So as long as it's getting positive ROI at this point, I'll keep them running. And then if this one is probably negative, so I'll just cancel it. Now, there's another scenario here which we'll cover in a second. We'll leave it down here. So let's just say number 2 and number 3 are running nicely. Let them run and stuff, and they've got a couple more sales or something. Or even if after a day they're still sitting on 3 or 2. I'll just let them run and try to get some more sales. Now, if they get a couple more sales, or even at this point, I might start to look at scaling out. Maybe I might duplicate the best one and try to increase the budget, just to maybe get a little bit more extra out of Facebook, which is probably what I would actually do, because I do preach that a lot. So yeah, I would increase budgets on the ad set itself, or duplicate it depending on how aggressive I feel like being. But yeah, you want to make sure you have a consistent amount of sales. Like, that's really the takeaway here. Just some sales, not just one. It's very, very dangerous to go off 1 sale. Very dangerous. I highly recommend you not go off 1 sale. Now, another scenario is, let's say our best one runs for a day and gets 0 sales, and runs for another day and it gets 1, it's just a bogus product. Like, I just got lucky, really. Facebook's throwing my product out there. It's got me a bunch of sales. It's because Facebook will try and put you in front of whatever you're optimizing for at the start. So if you are optimizing for purchases, it's quite common for Facebook to get a couple random ones at the start. It's quite common, and all the other coaches teach people to go off that, and it's really, it can be false data sometimes. So it's very common for an ad that you've had running for a few days and it's got good sales to actually just drop off, and you might even have good stats, but it's very common. It is a very common thing. So just be prepared for that as well. If you have a good one running, this is why let it run for a few days, and then it drops off and you can't get it back. Honestly, just kill it, and just, you would have made some money. You might be negative ROI now. You probably wouldn't be though if you've had 3 sales, but you might be negative ROI. So just kill it, right? I don't really see the point if you're quick testing, if you're doing the quick testing method. I don't see the point in keep going on adverts that are not performing very well. Like, you might as well just kill it and replace it with another product from AliExpress as fast as you can. It just makes sense, and try not to get emotionally attached to it. So this is like if you're just testing heaps of products, okay? I'm not talking about branding yourself out or stuff like that. I have a completely different method for that. I go quite aggressive. But yeah, this is just testing, okay? And just make sure, this is the last slide, but just make sure you don't get stuck on these one sale ones, because they're very, very dangerous. Like, they are very dangerous, and I see it all the time. Someone will be like, yeah, I got a sale, I need to upscale now. You don't need to upscale. You need to ride it out for a few more days to get some more sales, because one sale doesn't mean anything at all. It's absolutely, like, you might as well have 0 sales at that point. It doesn't mean anything. You might be positive ROI, but unless you get more sales throughout the next few days, it doesn't mean anything. So just don't get stuck on the one sale trap. It's a very big trap. A lot of people do it. And remember, this is for just testing, constant testing. And I would recommend, if you are going to be testing 20, 30, 10 products a day, or whatever you're doing, or you're going to be testing a vast amount of products per time you do all this, I would recommend just doing website conversion. Because if you, I do talk about doing PPE first and the next method, but I only do that if I'm testing maybe with 3 or 4 products. If I'm testing a lot, I don't have time or really the money to invest in doing PPE for every single product, right? It just takes too much time. So I would definitely recommend jumping on website conversions if you're going to be doing a bunch of testing constantly, and you're going to constantly be replacing products, losing products with more products that you want to test, okay? So that's it for this one. It's a very, very simple strategy. Spend $5 to $10, analyze your data, see which ones are getting you sales and which ones aren't. Kill the ones that aren't. Watch out for the one sale ones. Make sure they get more sales before you actually decide to, upscale. And then if it doesn't have any more sales after a few more days, cut it. If they kind of like are still, how much should we go? We went. Yeah, so got a few more sales, 2 to 3. If you're sitting at like 2, 3, 4, 5, you can, it just depends on your profits. Like, that's really what it depends on. If you're selling one product and if you're selling like number 3 here and you're making $20 profit, right? You can afford to just let it run. You can afford to just, kind of do what you want here. You can upscale it or whatever, because you've made money. But let's say you've only got $5 profits, then you're going to be like even pretty much at that point. So you've got to decide whether you want to keep it running, or whether you want to, or you'll be stupid not to keep it running, right? Because you're even. You don't want to let it run, because the worst thing that can happen is you just lose a little bit of money. But yeah, just remember, guys, it's not about this stuff isn't about everyone using the same Facebook methods and stuff. It's about your product, your pricing, how much you're willing to spend and stuff per conversion. Like you don't pay for the conversions. The conversions get calculated out of the impressions that you get paid for. It evens itself out, but you're still got to just figure out how much a conversion is worth to you, and then figure out your ROI and stuff, okay? But yeah, that's just it, guys. Just to take away from this is, don't get stuck on the one sale ones, and just start to scale out slowly at this point. And just remember, the ones that are doing well always have a risk of dropping off as well. And if they do, and you're testing, I wouldn't recommend trying to revive them. Maybe put them aside for later. You could try and mess with them then, but just kill them if you're not making any money. And just once again, a disclaimer, all my other methods are quite aggressive, but I've added them in because I want you to have different opportunities, right? So different options, I should say, to use for your scaling and stuff. But just kind of a safe bet, just do this one if you're new and you just want to test. Even then, you're still spending quite a bit of money, but that's why you cut out the ones that get no sales, so you don't spend that money the next day or whatever, right? And yeah, that's it for this one. Nice and easy method. It's basically just, I call this just cutting the fat. Cut it, and then slowly upscale the ones that have got you 4 or 5 sales and stuff like that, right? It's a pretty simple strategy. It's not hard. It's very, very easy. But the hardest part is don't get stuck on those ones, and you're good to go.